So hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Division B. As you all know that I told you I'll be bringing a video on how to deal with porn being one of the men's greatest distractions and how to get rid of this filthy habit. And without any further ado, let's get started with the video. And before starting out with the video, let me clear a illusion that most men out there and guys have that once they are married or once they fall in love, they will get rid of this habit and therefore this habit will go away like nothing. I'm sorry, my friend. Porn and masturbation is such a habit which will carry you until that deathbed, and this is one of the major reasons why divorces happen and also why relationships fail, because porn and masturbation will give you a different perspective. It will give you a different angle of sex and intimacy, which is wrong and therefore which will lead to a flawed relationships. So without any further ado, let me get started with the video on why you should get rid of porn. Most of the gurus out there already told you why you should get rid of porn, and you as men also know why you should get rid of porn. It is literally spoiling your life, pushing you into anxiety and depression. You have less energy levels, you literally do not have enough motivation to do something, and also you lack too much discipline. You, no matter what you build, you're exercising a lot, you're reading a lot, you're doing it, you're reading a lot, you're educating yourself a lot, but due to porn you somewhere feel that you're weak, you somewhere feel that you're not confident enough to face the real life world. So that is what I'm talking about. This is one of the major reasons why you have to leave porn, and there are a lot of things out there, and you as a man inside from the core yourselves know why you should leave porn. So I wouldn't tell too much about that. As you know, guilt and shamelessness as one of the major things why you have to leave it, and also you know why you have to leave porn. Now let me get to a more specific point of view on find out how to leave porn. Okay, so the first thing is find out why you want to leave porn. The guilt, self-confidence and all of that. Apart from that, what would be your personal reason to leave porn? Find out that, because the reason why most men are addicted to porn is because they do not have a concrete reason to leave that habit only. They do not have a particular thing which is motivating them to leave that habit only. They are like, nothing is going to happen, we'll do it. What's the worst that can happen? So that is what I'm talking about. Make sure you find your why. For some people, most people have reasons for this. Some people say that it hinders their vibrations, affects their dopamine systems, and that can be a concrete reason too. Second is, most people think porn is living in an illusion, so that is also a good reason. Me personally, I feel less connected to God when I'm doing all of this. When I was previously doing all of this, I feel less connected to God, and when it comes to my professional life, this was affecting my focus a lot, and this is one of the major drivers why I had to leave porn and I had to get rid of masturbation. So please find out your why. It can be personal reason also. You can do it for your family, you can do it for your friend, and if you're in relationship, please do your partner a favor and get rid of this habit, because I'm telling you, my friend, 1 year or 2 years down the line, you will suffer from it and you will remember my words. So please get rid of the habit, and this is all about finding your why. Now let's talk about what and all the things that you have to focus on when it comes to knowing this habit in general and therefore taking steps to get rid of it. Now you know why you have to get rid of this. Now what are the things affecting this habit? The first thing is triggers, and the second is environment, and the third is the defense mechanisms that you build to get rid of this habit. So first thing is triggers. As you all know, no guy just goes and sits there and starts masturbating and watch porn. There are triggers. Most common of the triggers are Instagram. As you know, Instagram has turned into a soft porn place where half naked girls show themselves, and therefore this acts as a major triggers to direct you towards the Chrome website, and you know what I'm talking about. So this is one of the major triggers. The first is soft porn and Instagram and all that. Then you might come across an explicit scene in the movies and all that can again be a major trigger. And also the third major trigger is conversations with the boys and the other groups. When you talk with the boys, a guy might say that he did something, that he watched this and all that, and this gives you a different arousal and kind of perspective in the mind, and therefore you somehow get aroused by this, and therefore you try to watch porn and do all of that. So those are the three reasons, and those are the three major triggers. And going to more specific kind of triggers, some people use porn as a coping mechanisms. Kids who have traumatic past and people who are going through depression and anxiety, they use it as a coping mechanism. Whenever they feel that they are stressed and all that, they just go watch some porn and beat the meat out of themselves. So these are one of the 4 triggers that you have to focus on. The first thing is soft porn, that is from Instagram and other websites, and the second thing is avoid these conversations in groups and all that, and third thing is, as I talked about, movies. even if there are explicit scenes in the movies, have a different perspective of how to watch them. Instead of taking them as sex, watch them as intimacy. So that is what I'm talking about. The fourth perspective about the coping mechanisms, you can either meet a therapist or find a better coping mechanism. Instead of watching porn or beating your meat out of yourself and you're in depression, listen to music or pray or basically replace that habit with something else. So those are the triggers. And the second thing which matters a lot, and please, before entering this, leaving this porn, please accept that you are addicted, because 70 to 90% according to statistics are addicted to this porn. So please accept the fact that you are addicted and see all of this. As you all know, triggers, you know what and all the major triggers are. These are the specific and the general triggers, you know it. Now let's come to the environment, as I spoke in the introduction. So it goes by the quote, the environment you create around you shapes your habit. So whatever the habit you have of watching porn and masturbation is basically because of your environment. And if you have an environment which does support watching porn and gives you a lot of privacy, you might end up doing it every single day. So let me list down and let me tell you what are the most important things when it comes to environment. What are the most important things? First, if you live alone, you have higher chances of masturbation. The reason being, you have no one to supervise you, you have no one around you to talk, and therefore you feel as if no one is watching. Second is, if you have a really stressful environment, you can use it as a defense mechanism, and therefore you might start beating the meat out of yourself as a mode or a medium of relaxation. And the third is peer norms. This is one of the major things that I want to put light on. Most of the peers say that it's a myth, you can masturbate and do all of that. No, my friend, it is not a myth. Porn literally destroys a man, literally destroys your dopamine system and your vibration system. So please, your environment, change your peers also. The people who tell that this is myth and all that, please enlighten them and change their thing. And also, if you are bored, as I talked about in environment, if you are bored, if you are in an environment where you feel a lot of bored, you do not have any purpose or routine, you do not have any work to do, you will just go there and watch porn and beat the meat out of yourself. So that is what I'm talking about. So environment matters a lot. Try changing the environment. If you're living alone, try going out. And if you have people who tell it's a myth and all that, deal with them properly and tell them no, it's not a myth, and show them the real life effect. And when you do not have any boundaries or routines, make sure you journal and create your day so that you are not bored. And the best way to get rid of the habit is replace the habit with something else. Either go for a walk, join a gym or something. So that is how you have to change your environment. And now that coming to the last thing of this video is the concrete steps that you have to take to avoid it. So what are the concrete steps? First, I talked about triggers. Second, I talked about the environment. Third, I'll talk about the defense mechanism that you have to keep in place so that you do not go back to the habit. The first defense mechanism is, wait, let me take it out. And so first defense mechanism is using this 21-day routine paper. And the reason is because this is not for masturbation, this is for some other habit that I've been using, but I did the same for masturbation also, and it really worked. Just stick out on a wall that 21 days numbers, and with each day not masturbating, just remove the number, and at the end of the 21-day period, the urges will go zero and you will no longer be an addict. So this is one of the things that you can use. Paste a 21-day wall, and whenever you think of masturbating or watching porn, just divert your mind towards the list or the thing that you just made the sticky notes, and just think ki only 21 days is what you have to get rid of this habit. So at the end of 21 days, your urges will be zero, so you can do that. And second is exercise. As you all know, testosterone is high in men. The moment you feel urges, think of replacing it with exercise and all of that. Get a gym membership or go for a walk or a run. By this way, your testosterone is all used, and therefore you would not want to meet the beat out of yourself. So you can do this. And the third thing is follow your passion. The best thing to do, and I also did the same thing. I followed my passion of YouTube. Whenever I felt bored, I felt like masturbating or watching porn and all that, I simply just turned on YouTube and did all my research. I started studying my passion. I have a huge passion of reading a lot of books. I have a huge passion of watching movies, productive movies and all of that. So that is what, start chasing your passion. Have something that you're working on. And I'm not talking about formal education, please don't get me wrong. Not for formal education will still push you into the pit of masturbation. Reason being, you're not interested in that. Find something you're passionate about and therefore start working on it. So that is all about this video, and I'm going to end this video on a good note, telling ki please get rid of porn and masturbation as fast as you can, and this habit will kill you if you aren't aware of it. Thank you.